Henry, do you remember how you got here? This next part might hurt. Squeeze. You and I were, and still are, husband and wife. I love you, Henry.
Henry, they want your technology.
How would you like then you?
Ja, sjældent har en film haft en mere passende titel end Hardcore. Et 96 minutter langt adrenalinrush, fyldt til bristepunktet med hæmningsløs action. Det lyder måske ikke ligefrem originalt, men Hardcore er altså noget særligt, i det hele filmen ses fra hovedpersonen Henrys synspunkt, eller POV, point of view. POV er selvfølgelig ikke noget nyt stilelement. Film noir-klassikeren Lady in the Lake fra 1947 var en af de første film med udpræget brug af POV.
Now wait a minute, Mr. Marlowe.
Just when I was beginning to like you.
Well, you want the facts, don't you?
When it concerns a woman, does anybody ever really want the facts?
Og siden da har mange film haft POV-momenter og sekvenser, såsom spilfilmatiseringen Doom fra 2005. Men en hel film skudt i POV er alligevel en sjældenhed, særligt fordi det stiller enormt høje krav, både til fotografer og skuespillere, der konstant skal interagere direkte med kameraet. Men POV-billedsiden fungerer faktisk rigtig godt i Hardcore og giver filmen et unikt videospilsfeel, der harmonerer fint med den ofte herligt overdrevne og opfindsomme action. Vi mødte for nylig filmens instruktør, russiske Ilya Naishuller, da han gæstede Danmark, og interviewet foregik ganske passende på spilmessen Copenhagen Games i Øksnehallen.
Cool. Listen, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
You're the guy from Moovy.dk, yeah?
Yeah, that's me. That's me. Yeah.
Nice t-shirt you got.
Yeah, thank you very much. The genesis for making a movie this unique, how did the idea start off?
I had a music video called Bad Motherfucker that I made for my band, and Timur Bekmambetov, our producer, he just Facebooked me. I never met him. He's a national hero for us in Russia. He resurrected Russian cinema with Night Watch and Day Watch back in the early 2000s. And he said, well, we should make a feature-length POV action film. And I told him I think it's a horrible idea. It's not going to work. I said it works as a 5-minute video. It will not work as a 90-minute video. And he says, don't you want to go see a great POV action movie in a theater? And I was like, actually, I really would. And he said, well, you should go make it. And something just went off. I realized the potential just right away that this, if done correctly, this is going to be mind-blowing. And yes, it's done correctly, and hopefully it's mind-blowing. And you're not going to let me lie about that.
Oh well, but you know, I'm over here. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm just so used to. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
That's gonna look a little bit idiotic.
Yeah, a little bit crazy. We'll cut it out and work. It won't end up in.
We'll cut it out.
Yeah, exactly. Is there any particular reason why you think it hasn't been done really before?
Okay, so I'll answer why it hasn't been done in America. Because Hollywood's run on precedents. No one wants to risk any money on something that is fresh. Unless James Cameron does it, in which case you should. That's one part. The second part is that this movie couldn't have been done in America because the way that we made it with the stunts and everything, all the stunts are real. Everything that you see happens. Every shot in the film was made by a stuntman wearing the rig and actually going and doing a lot of dangerous stuff. And that was part of my pitch to the crew and how we're going to do it, is that we have to have the audience be Henry. And the only way that's going to work is if he is Henry. We can't just, shoot something through a camera and then add some flapping hands and green screen. That's going to be cheating, and people know, and it's all about the feeling. Even if it look good, the feel is going to be very different. So we had over 90 stunt days worth of stunts. And we got away with 5 stitches on a stuntman's head and a chipped tooth on one of the guys playing Henry. That's it. So we have, for a bunch of crazy Russians, we got a very good safety record. It was physically demanding. It was creatively very demanding. It was demanding from every department head. Like the stunts, usually the guys are they're like, oh, put the camera over there, we'll hide this punch right here. And what happens is, here, they're like, we'll put the camera there for this punch, and everyone just looks at them. And they're like, oh shit, POV, sorry. So this would happen for like first few weeks actually of shooting. People would still be kind of like, what about this? And you'd be like, come on. So they had to relearn their craft. It was difficult for them, for the actors who have to now play to the camera, only to the camera. Even now, I'm finding it difficult to talk to the camera when I'm seeing you, I'm seeing your reactions and your emotions, your eyes. I'm biologically programmed to react. We just can't. So that was, you know, pain in the ass. I mean, the catering had to be relearn their craft because people were a lot more hungrier because it was physically demanding. I'm just kidding, but for everybody involved, it was a lot of work. They just believed in what we were doing. We always kind of felt that it was special. It wasn't just ever like, see what happens, maybe it works. Like, I knew that, you know, I had this deal with myself a while back that I told myself that if my first film is bad, I'll never make another film again. Because there's so many shitty directors who keep doing the same thing over and over, and the failing upwards is a term that people use. And I was like, I'm not going to pollute the air with more crap. If I'm not good, it's fine. There's plenty of other things I can do. I don't want to. I want to film is the best thing in the world. It's the best job in the world.
As I gather, it's almost exclusively shot on GoPro cameras with this mask on. Can you describe how practically was it done?
So the mask is, the rig we created is a custom designed camera rig that fits very snugly on the heads. We made copies of all the heads. I don't know the right word, the mold from each of the stunt guys' heads. So it's perfectly fit, so it was very, very snug. It actually hurt every time I had to do, because I shot a little bit of it, like the dialogue scenes and a bit of the shooting stuff. Like after 20 minutes, I'd be like, take it off. Just, I mean, because the head is just, you feel like the guy, like Jaws is actually squeezing you. That's what it felt like. It had 2 GoPros on a magnetically stabilized 3D printed rig that allowed for the counter sort of movement that you can run, and it won't be like that. It will be like this, because you can use like a gyro thing, like a steady cam or something, a small tiny system, but then it becomes, you know, super smooth, and that doesn't quite work because that's not how we see. I mean, we tried stabilization and tests. We did hours and hours and hours and hours of tests. So we did driving, fighting, jumping, shooting, everything, just to see what we can get away with in terms of motion and what's comfortable, what's not. Because I get motion sick easy. I wanted to make sure that I can at least watch my film, because I was making the film for myself, and I had to make sure that, you know, I think it's very important to sort of treat your audience with respect. As much as you can. You're not going to be able to please everybody. And this is a film that's very, in my mind, it's very black and white. You're going to love it or hate it. There's not going to be a ground where you're like, well, I don't know. You know. Which I think is good. I think great art is supposed to divide and all that stuff, which I think is actually an excuse. Whoever said great art is supposed to divide is probably some guy who had like a lot of very negative feedback and a very positive critical feedback. And he was, great art is supposed to divide. You know, I was like, bravo, sir, bravo. So,
but also, of course, right now we're doing this interview at a gaming exhibition, and of course there are some similarities. You can't help but think of video games in a way, because of course it's very first-person shooter-ish in a lot of ways, and also in how the hands also interact with the frame.
You know, I think it's very important. Before I'm sorry, I want to interrupt.
Of course, yeah.
And we should get right back to it. I think it's very important to understand. This is a film, right? It was made for a cinematic experience. The fact that we like to think it's a video game film, and a lot of people are saying that, is because we're so used to seeing the first-person perspective in video games that it's not a game, it's a film. It's actors doing real things, you don't have a controller, and people sometimes complain. I just get a little annoyed. People are like, well, what's the point? I can't control it, why should I enjoy it? Well, do you complain when you're watching The Raid that you don't have a controller? So the perspective is telling you you need a controller. Okay. Yeah, it's a little iffy.
But the action sequences are immense. I especially dig the whole climax. And one of the things I found was so amazing about it is that it almost feels, and I know it isn't, of course, it's meticulously planned, but it feels improvised. And I mean that in a good way, because it seems so raw and immediate. Yeah. It seems so not meticulously planned, which is, I think, is a good thing. That's why it makes it feel so real. So I guess that must also be a challenge, to make it feel so visceral and real and immediate, while it still has to be so perfectly controlled with the camera.
It's a great point you bring up about trying to balance of actually, you know, planning it out so well that it doesn't look well planned. It's like, it's making it look easy. That's the term. It's a pain in the ass. But the upside of doing something like this is that every time you get a shot that works, you're like, no one's ever done that shot. We're the first people in the world. That's super rewarding. It's fantastic.
Swallow that blood in your mouth. You're gonna stand up and go spill this.